Not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not going to cry. Oof. Okay, I'm about to cry. All right, that's my step grandpa, and he be anyway. What story did you gonna tell people?
My parents got divorced right before I turned 2, so I actually don't have any memories of my parents being together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TapIn Tuesday, and today I have someone that I hold near and dear to my heart, the one, the only. Should I say Phil or Philaye?
Philaye.
Philaye.
What's good?
See, when you know people personally, you call nobody actually Phil, Philip, Philly. But Philaye, first and foremost, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. What's good, TapIn fam?
What's up? Now, Phil has actually been on the TapIn platform before
Yes.
when I was just going live in my living room against my wall, and we talked about everything LGBTQ plus, and he is a big influencer and trailblazer in his community and in that space, not only being a black male but also being a black male in the LGBTQ plus community. So first of all, let me give you your flowers.
I appreciate
And
you.
shout you out because you represent the community so well. You do it with class. Ain't nothing wrong with a little ratchet either, but he literally is a storyteller like myself, and that is actually how we met. We met because my best friend from high school, Royce, shout out to Royce.
Shout out to Royce.
Hey, boo. He DM'd me in 2019 and told me that Phil was casting for a pilot / mini-series. And he was like, I think you should audition. I think it would be great. I know Phil from around the way. He's a really cool guy. Sent my audition in. Phil replied to me immediately, hired me from the audition. Was like, I love your energy. You're amazing. I got a role for you. Of course, I had to play a homophobic. He had me playing a homophobic, mean mother. He done put me in 2 films where I was homophobic, y'all.
Okay, well that's the last one. That's the last time.
But then I had one film where I was
Exactly.
I was looking for the girls. Hello.
You'd have been on all ends of the spectrum at this
Exactly.
point.
He's given me so many roles, and literally from 2019 up until now, I kid y'all not, every year. I really feel like just about every year, maybe 1 year, if anything.
2020, it wasn't
'Cause
much
of COVID.
going on,
Yeah,
right?
it was COVID. But 2019, 2022, 2023, he has put me in any and just about everything that he comes in contact with if he sees a role for me. So I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Okay, I'm about to cry. All right. Whew.
The cancer jumping
I
out.
know, it's jumping out. But I don't think people understand how much it means when people see your talent and you start with them from the bottom, and not even from the bottom, but just from the start. Like when I started with him, my boy was financing this on credit cards.
Yes.
Remember you told me that story?
Yes.
He was financing everything on his credit cards. And most of us did it just we did it for love. Like we love the craft, so we're like, we don't need nothing. Like, we just happy to be here. And I kid y'all not, every year the budget got bigger. The pay increased, the platform increased, and so I am forever thankful and forever grateful for you always thinking of me and always putting me in spaces or speaking my name in rooms that I may have never been spoken into, and I just love how you always have elevated everything that you've done. From when we shoot, from the premieres, the red carpets that we do. And I just got to give you your flowers and just tell you that I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad to be a part of your journey, and so glad that you are a part of mine. We're both Cancer, so
Yes.
excuse the water words, but I got to give my boy his flowers. He's been my family. He spent Thanksgiving with us. So, like,
Yes.
I keep telling y'all, everybody that's on this season, these are my real peers. These are not just peers, but my real friends, like people that I look up to, that inspire me. And Phil is like my little brother, because we got a little gap between us, but age does not define the greatness that someone has. And he has inspired me and so many others. And I just love how you always reach out to people. And when they reach out to you, you're so willing to help them and show them the way. And I just gotta give you your flowers, brother.
Look, you got me feeling good.
I just love you so much. And we've done so many things in our latest project that we did.
Yes.
We just had our viewing at the end of last year. So December 2023, we had our showing, our viewing, and now...
That was in March.
Was it? It was in March this year? Now, child, I done had some tequila, y'all, so... I'm thinking about the last one. See, I be in everything, y'all, so, travel to my mind and not
exactly,
my heart.
like, it's all getting, like, meshed together at this point.
March of this year, we had our premiere of It's in
You.
It's in You, because I'm going to say it's inside you. But see, when you family, you can do that. When you family, you can do that. Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Because I was in Atlanta. Was we in Atlanta year before last?
It was...
Not last year before last.
That one was end of 2022?
22.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so 22 December.
Huh? Yes.
22 December, we was in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And we did our premiere for...
Maybe next Christmas.
So, yes. So, I've done a total of 4 projects with Phil. But everything is always professional. It's always done at the utmost. Like, just... respectful for the artists, for the actors, he just runs a smooth train. It's a smooth ride. So just have to give my brother his props.
I appreciate you. You so talented. You come through with the energy every time. Look, we just make friends with everybody on set. Like, we just grow the clan a little bit larger every time. Always meeting somebody new. So no, you always come through with the vibes, the acting chops, the talent. Look, just the fun, honestly, because I feel like it's important to have fun on set. Like, we don't try to take it too seriously to the point that it's like chopping each other's heads off. Like, it's like a good family time.
It always is.
But like, not the toxic family. Though.
Exactly. and also, just to shout out to him, like, he put me in my first thriller, which was last year. Mm-hmm. It was so funny because when you put me in that thriller, in that role, that was my first time ever doing, like, a serious, like, thriller role. Mm-hmm. And, like, actually, like, having to be, like, I was a preacher's wife, so I had to be, like, very, like, sanctified and holy. And I said this at our premiere, but around that time, when you put me in that role, I was struggling. Oh, I'm about to cry again. I was struggling so hard with where my place was in this entertainment industry, and just feeling like, okay, I want to sing, I want to act, I want to do this, but, like, I just don't feel like I'm doing enough. And so that moment when you called me was like, hey, I got something for you. Like, I hadn't done anything in, like, over a year. And so that just really kind of, like, kicked me back into gear. So shout out to you for that. But we ain't going to get too sentimental. We gonna get too sentimental, but I'm gonna keep it going. So... as you know, TapInTuesday, we are a storytelling platform. That's why we're here. We tell stories. TapInTuesday, the show. And it's all about transparency and just, relating to the everyday person. Because on social media, we always have all this glitz and glam and all this smoke and mirrors. And it's like, my story is relatable, and I'm sure some other people can relate to it too. So what are we talking about today? What story did you go tell people?
I really feel inspired by this room. Like, it's giving me the ancestors. It's giving me family history. I feel like we should talk about black family and love,
Let's talk about it.
In black cities. And
Yes.
I'm from the blackest city in America, Detroit. So
313 day!
And, I heard you had a few other guests from Detroit, so
Man.
I got to continue to represent.
Let me tell you something. Detroit has been in the building, and my family is from Detroit and Grand Rapids, Michigan. My mom is from Grand Rapids. My grandfather and all my uncles and them are from Detroit, so I have a very close love and appreciation for Michigan. I used to go up there every summer, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So yeah, I know all about my family from the east side of Detroit.
Okay, that's where my family live now. Like, we was in the west side when I was growing up, but now, everybody that migrated east by the river. I'm not mad at them because it's real nice by the river. If you go to Detroit and, you need somewhere to stay, the east side, you're going to get a good river view.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't always like that, but.
It wasn't always like that, but, they on the rise guys. And just a little shameless plug, my mom is the president of the East Side Community Network in Detroit. And she really works a lot in sustainability and just the beautification of the natural spaces and stuff like that. So, she's helping to, build up that East Side.
I'm gonna have to talk to mama, see if she knows some of my family out there, okay? Y'all
She
know
probably
Fast Freddy.
does.
That's my step grandpa, and he be... Anyway.
What do he be doing?
He be dancing. So he was like a famous model in Detroit.
Oh.
And he has a famous move where he used to do like this coat spinning thing. And
I need to see this after. We need to hit this.
No, I'm gonna have to try to insert it in the edit because I seen Nikki Gilbert from the group Brownstone. You might not know that because you're a little young, but I heard it through the grapevine. That's them. And she shouted out Freddie, who is my uncle's mother's new husband, and like the way he used to like walk down the runway, because it was a lot of black model, and it's home of Motown, so it's just black excellence in Detroit. And he definitely had a very specific move that he used to do when he used to walk down that runway, and I mean, it was killer. So shout out to you, Fast Freddie. Love you. But what are we talking about today? We're talking about black families. What's the story? Tell me a little something.
You mentioned Detroit is Motown. There is so much history in Detroit. We got so much black history in general in the country.
Right.
And, history can have good points, obviously, but we also have a lot of, hard things that I feel like black families go through. And especially growing up in Detroit, I don't know if it's just being from Detroit and the people I'm around, but I happen to know a lot of people and have a lot of friends that have, like, crazy ass black dad stories. Like, we don't always get to talk about some of what has gone on over the history of decades of American history that has affected black families, especially in the dad category.
Right.
And so in order to talk about that, at least being from Detroit, speaking for myself, I guess I'll say, is crack in the 80s did hit a lot of families.
Was yours one?
Mine was one in the dad category. And to be honest, I'm the baby of the family, and I don't always know the details of like how long certain things were done. I know that drugs, were done for multiple decades, but even to this day, like I'm not always privy on, in the present day, some of the dads and just people who back in the 80s and, those past decades were affected. I don't know what all they are doing now in terms of drugs, because, rehab is a thing and stuff like that, but you just don't always know even to this day. So that's why I think it would be cool to talk about, because, it's just something that obviously people alive are going through to this day.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Tiami, and you already know on Tap In Tuesday, if you would like to be a guest, or you would like your items promoted, or even a shout out, or even if you want to write a story in and you want me to tell it, all you have to do is send me an email to tapintuesday@gmail.com. That's Tuesday with 2 Y's, not one. tapintuesday@gmail.com. Holla at your girl. We got you.
For me, my parents got divorced right before I turned 2, so I actually don't have any memories of my parents being together, which I don't like to think, but I kind of think in a way gives me a little bit of a different experience than what my sisters had, because my parents got together and started having kids when my mom was 27 and dad was 32, and my dad was a firefighter at the time, and that was going well. Things were cool. Both my parents are college graduates. But then, firefighting, my dad would say, is a young man's game. So naturally, he was not thinking he was going to do that forever. But at some point, I don't know if it was in his 20s or his teens, or, I won't even bother going all into all of his necessarily childhood details or whatever, since truthfully, I don't know them all. But I just know that at some point, he ended up picking up the habit. And then, he was very straight and narrow guy, like always very smart about school. Just a smart person, still to this day, knows a lot about a lot of things. But over the course of time of using, then, you start to see a person change. And mind you, I'm just speaking from stories that I've heard because I wasn't there to see the him before, and then now see, the progression of him and things like that over the course of time.
Right.
But it ended up being not a great change in terms of, just when it came to work and motivation to do that, and then even just kind of, to be candid, treating women right in terms of, just honestly a lot of angles, but including like abuse. And so because of that, I know that there were a lot of traumatic things that kind of happened before I really was conscious or even alive, and some of them that my sisters did have to experience and see. And so my parents get divorced right before I turned 2, and by the time I'm 3 and 4, they both ended up remarrying kind of back to back. And for me, I actually kind of liked having 2 houses growing up. It's really all I ever remember knowing.
Right, that's all you know.
I felt like it was double Christmas, sometimes double Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Was getting gifts for sure, because it's all these people. You got step parents, a step sister.
Right.
It was a lot going on. But that toll on the family then doesn't just stop there, because my mom, I feel like, has always educated us since the time that I was probably in like high school, even still was a kid. She would educate us on the effects of having an addict parent on the offspring. And there's apparently a few different...
Don't drink, don't smoke, did she used to do that?
She, not with me exactly, because I had older sisters, and so it was them that she would be on, because not necessarily...
You got an addictive spirit.
Right, and not necessarily...
My mama. We're going to talk about that later.
Yes, and even, it's funny because for me, like, when I was in high school, by my sophomore year, it was just me in the house. My sisters were both in college. And I remember one time, one of my sisters was living back at home for the summer or something, and we got home. I didn't even know what weed barely was, but we got back to the house, and I knew the house smelled like weed. And I was like, oh, no, we got another addict in the family. I'm like, no. So
Say no to drugs, y'all.
I literally told my mom, I was like, you need to get them rehab. I was like, you need to get my sisters rehab.
Not you snitched. Not you snitched on the sisters, boy. Fired.
I was like, girl, we got to get them help. This ain't good. I was like, they drinking, they smoking. I'm like 15 at the time. Mind you, then they start turning me out. And when I would
turning you out.
When I would go up and visit my sister at college, that's where I had my first alcohol, got so drunk, was blacked out. Like, so...
It's always with an older son. I ain't got no siblings, but it was an older cousin for me.
Yeah, it's always the older, like, family member who's still a cousin or sibling that,
right.
And then you start feeling rebellious, whatever. And so I was, like, very, very, because I ran track, too, which we'll get to later, but I was real against, like, drinking and smoking. Yeah, because
athletes don't be playing about their bodies.
No, I was very serious about track. Like, I wanted to be the best, like, that I could be. Like, I didn't need to be the best, but I was very focused. So
hello lovelies, and welcome to another TM's Corner via TapIn Tuesday. So today's outfit, another Amazon look, honey. Cute little boyfriend flower jeans. You see it, they fit so good. And I'm a small girl with no torso, so like sometimes I have to bend them down and the crotch looks a little long, but I love that little baggy look. This shirt is just like, a cute little 1-2. Now obviously this tie around the neck is something that I did myself. You can wrap it around your stomach, but because again I'm a short girl, so I took these straps, wrapped it around, pulled it through my bra, and then made it into like a halter. And this is like, it can be off the shoulder, or it can be one shoulder, or both shoulders, or no shoulders. The shoes, they're like some cute little pink platforms. Satin platforms, love pink, it's like one of my favorite colors. And I also got these from Amazon as well. And of course I'm gonna have the link in my Amazon store so you can also cop the look. Cute little summer thing. You can also dress it down with some sneakers. It's versatile, honey. We trying to be comfortable. I don't know about y'all, but I'm in my 30s and baby, I like to be comfortable, but I still like to be cute. And this is one of those looks. Shout out to my girl Simone for helping me put the looks together. And yeah, this is what we working with. Peace out.
when I ended up quitting, then midway through freshman year of college, that's when then, I ended up starting to smoke weed and not care about stuff and things like that. But even going back to being in elementary school, when, I knew that they would kind of mention that, there were drug things going on, but it wasn't always clear because they had these little code words and stuff they would do. So, like if my dad wanted some cigarettes, he would ask my stepmom, what would he call them? He would say, can you go get me some adult candy bars? Or it was something so stupid. And so in my head, I'd be like, well, can you get me some too? Shoot, I mean, I'm hungry. And so, there were all these little things to try to, I guess, shelter it, but there were the certain things that made it unavoidable. Like some of the weekends at my dad's house, like if for whatever reason I ended up home alone, sometimes he would say like, oh, I'm going to the corner store and, like to get some hot Cheetos or whatever. The corner store was literally around the corner. He wouldn't be back for 6 hours. And so
were you, not to cut you off, but were you actively old enough to know that was your daddy still having addiction issues while you were like a little older, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Oh, way past that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So it continued after you left your mom.
Oh, yeah. While he was with the stepmom, for sure, was continuing. It was not good, and but it was like they were pretty good at sheltering things to a certain extent, but then some things just didn't make sense. One time, I don't even think I ever really have ever told this story and how much it never made sense to me as a kid, but I remember one of those nights that my dad would be out for God knows how many hours. I just remember that then the next day or that night, somehow he had been in some car accident, but his ear was like sliced. Like his ear was kind of hanging at a point, like it was partly broken off. It never made sense to me. So there's a lot of things I think from childhood that because I'm the youngest sibling, like they kept me more in the dark. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting recalling that. And sometimes I have grace with my sisters because I think that they witnessed some more certain
traumatic
stuff.
things than you did.
Yeah, by the time I was kind of coming up, they had gotten a good grasp. There was a lot of step parents and around to be able to, just control or figure out how to navigate what was going on. But yeah.
So when did your dad kind of like let the addiction go? Or you're not sure.
I honestly don't know if he is or not. Still, like we.
But he's functioning.
Definitely is functioning. I have a half brother who is 10 years old, and he's also autistic. And his mom also passed from diabetes a couple years ago. So my dad now, and it's really actually pretty good because he's very much so like, cause he's a Capricorn, so he's all about a schedule. He's about structure. Mm-hmm. And so in some ways, I feel like that little half-brother may have saved his life in some ways because he has to be responsible. He has to take him to school. He has to take him to some after-school programs or different things at points for his learning disabilities and things like that to bridge that gap. So it's kind of nice to see that, it reminds me that one of the things I've always appreciated about, although, I don't necessarily have the best or the most ideal, dad story in some ways. He's always really liked being a dad, whether he was going through it and living in a hotel and barely working and us not seeing him for some years, or not seeing him often for some years later, getting into the teen years. Like, he really always cared about being a dad. So I didn't ever feel like he was like just a total deadbeat, which is cool. And I like that he is caring about, this son now who is, because he cared about us too, and I just like that he still does.
Right. I love that. And so just like you, my dad was an addict at one point in his life for about like a good 13, 15 years, and he was a closet addict, so nobody knew. And a preacher's kid, so you know how when you're a preacher's kid or anybody that is in that religion space, we know how to mask and put on a front.
Yeah.
So I definitely can relate to just knowing that you have a parent that struggles with addiction. But the one thing that I will say about my dad was that he never hid his addiction. It was I was young too though, so I don't remember a lot. Obvious, I don't remember a lot. And my parents ended up finally divorced when I was 5. I think my mom left my dad when I was 3, and the addiction was a part of the reason why she left. And so, when my mom did separate from my dad and the divorce was final, the one thing that I can say about my dad was that he always openly shared about his issues and what he was going through, and even took me to his meetings. Like, I would literally go to his addiction meetings with him at nighttime and have my little chips and snacks. And at that time I didn't realize what was going on, but now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, like, shout out to my dad.
Shout out to him.
Not ever hiding his flaws. And I definitely think that's a big reason of why I can be so transparent and tell these stories on TapIn Tuesday.
Yes.
And not feel any shame, because I seen that from my dad. And now he's been clean for over 20 plus years now, and he's remarried. And even though he might have not had the best relationship in marriage with my mom, his new marriage and what he has is just beautiful. And so I can relate so much to that black family dynamic, and that broken home. And I know for me, feeling almost like when I was younger, like, is it my fault my parents? Because when you're a kid, you don't know any better, so you're like, well, did I do something wrong, or why they not together, or even crying out thinking like, oh, okay, when is my dad coming home, or where is he, why did we leave, and stuff like that. So I just think it's very important that, especially we as people of color, minorities, that we talk about these type of stories, because they are prevalent and they are relevant in our community. And it's amazing to just give our family members their flowers, to let them know, like, hey, you might have struggled on this, but I see what you're doing now, just like you said with your dad, with your little brother, and how he's stepping up to the plate. You're not sure whether he all the way off straight and narrow or not, but regardless, you see the growth in him.
We smoke weed together sometimes. So that's why I'm like, I don't know what else happens. But, like, I think he might be keeping it cooler these days.
Right.
Like,
because he got somebody that he has to be responsible for.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and at the end of the day, I think one of the things that I really do love about my family is that sometimes, like any family, shit can get crazy. Like, people get, a little beefed out, whatever it is. And then you kind of, like, come back together and end up just real good with each other.
Yeah, better than you were before.
Yeah,
better than you were before.
Yeah, like 2+ years ago, my mom's mom passed, so my last living grandparent, and then 3 months later, my aunt passed, who was my mom's oldest sister, so her first sibling to pass. So after that happened, the family, everybody was beefed out, because emotions were high, beefs came to a head.
Beef to the family. I hate that.
Exactly, and then it was crazy, because then Christmas this year, almost all of us were in the room. Like, everybody was just able to be in the room and happy, loving. We had it was a really good time. There were new people in the room, people's new significant others, things like that, new baby had and stuff like that. So I appreciate that my family cares about that love and family connection and support, because I feel like I always have that place to go back to, Detroit, that feels like such home, rather than feeling so broken, even though, they say the broken black family, but, I think even if things are broken, they can heal.
Exactly.
So.
And we do the best that we can with the tools that we have.
Yes.
And that's what I always express, just in my storytelling and in general. It's just like, our parents had lives before they had us.
Yeah.
And they were dealing with their own struggles and their own turmoil and raising themselves before they started raising us.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, our parents are raising us while simultaneously still raising themselves.
Right.
And trying to navigate, because my parents were like 30, 31 when they divorced. I can't imagine having a 5-year-old and going through a divorce at 30, 31. I'm 33, child, and I barely can keep a boyfriend. Really can get one, but that's another time for the story. But, like, as far, like, I know your mom, she loves and support everything that you do. Finally got to meet her at the last premiere. She's a beautiful lady. Now, with your dad, like, how does he react to everything, and just, being a part of the community and things of that nature? Like, how does he navigate through that? Is he accepting? Is he like, I'm rooting for you, son, I love you, whatever, it doesn't matter? Because, black families, sometimes they can be a little...
Yeah. I feel blessed that he, honestly, since the day I came out, there hasn't been, like, hate from him. Because I was in Costa Rica and study abroad, and the reason I even came out to him, I had come out in the recent months to, like, my mom, my 2 sisters, and then I had just got my first boyfriend right after doing that, and then I was on study abroad like a week later. And I had this dream that like he died and I hadn't let him know, I guess, who I was. So I called him, or maybe I texted him, I don't know. But it was like 4 a.m. and I just kind of let him know, and that because I had the boyfriend, I was like in love.
And how old were you around this time?
I was 19,
Okay. And this is your first like relationship where you're like, okay, I'm gonna step out and do what I feel is comfortable.
It was, and I was like so swept up in the love, and since I was in Costa Rica too, so it was in a whole other world. What he was like confused. He was kind of acting confused, but I really thought he wasn't confused, because I know that there were times that as a kid, I guess especially in elementary school, before I even had ever had any like puberty or anything like that. I didn't even know what gay was, straight was, nothing. There were some kids who would kind of call me the F slur. And so I knew, and even one of my sisters at a point, so I knew that he like couldn't have been that confused, but he acted a little confused and just was like, huh? In the text, and I'm confused. And then it just ended up kind of being like, oh, okay, well, all cool. And then when I got back to town, and me and the boyfriend were together, I could come to like Thanksgiving or come to whatever and bring him, and it was normal.
It was normal.
It was always normal.
That.
So he's always been cool about it. Yeah, my family has been cool about it.
I love that, because that's really important too. I have a cousin, and child, they tried. They in the beginning, the elders, like our grandparents and them, they like, don't you do that. But our grandparents have passed on and stuff like that, and like now, like it's open, like we don't care. We already knew.
We outside.
We already knew. It's just it's my female cousin. I'm just like, girl, we been know. We always knew. You the one who was trying to hide, and we don't care.
Right.
Like we just want you to be happy. Like that's our biggest thing, is just making sure you are happy. So I think that's beautiful, because so many don't have that story where their family are acceptant or have acceptance of who they choose to love. And at the end of the day, like, it ain't nobody's business who you do what with. But I understand the whole point or the process of feeling like, okay, let me tell you what's going on, so you won't be shocked, or you won't be feeling like you in the blind.
Right.
So I love that. And shout out to your dad, shout out to your mom and your sisters, and shout out to you for being able to navigate through those, not even so much trials and tribulations, but just, family dynamics and navigating through life and finding out things about your parents or seeing things and giving them that grace. Not,
that's important.
Them.
That's important. It's
so important.
Because in order to even enjoy, your own life and enjoy the moment, you have to be able to give, because I feel like some of us have one parent or both parents that we have issues with. For me, it's really just ever been one. I've really never had an issue with my mom. And so, being able to give that grace was partly my own piece. Like when the two family members passed a couple years ago, it was kind of me who, in the dad situation, that cut him off, because I didn't like some things about just, the history with how he felt about, just my mom or her side of the family and things like that. Like, I just didn't appreciate some things. So on behalf of, like, other people, I was, like, beefed out with him and pissed. Like, this time last year, because my first name is after my dad, I was going to change my name.
Really? That deep.
It was that deep, because I just felt like I've never loved my first name that much, Philip. And I just didn't want to be
associated.
Yeah, like it just felt like this is who I was at war with myself, because that's half of me. And so I was either going to be Philaye Johnson or Chris Johnson, my middle name. But then for my birthday, I was in Detroit, and then my dad had called me and say happy birthday and stuff. And I just answered the call, and it was all normal. And I was like, why ruin my life and be all pissed? Like, I wasn't really that mad anymore. So I think the grace you said is important, because there's going to be a family member who has done something that upsets you, and you just got to be able to move on and love people and let them love you, because people want to love you too. So it's about letting people do that.
I love that. First of all, thank you for sharing your story and just being so transparent and authentic, because that's what this is all about. And shout out to the dads in the world. Like, Black fathers, you guys matter.
Yes.
You matter. We love you. We are thankful for you. And we give you grace and we give you love and we embrace. We know that you guys had your own trials and tribulations before we came into your life. So thank you for trying your best at raising us and also simultaneously raising yourself. So shout out to y'all. Now before we wrap this thing up, we got to get into some spice.
Ooh.
Everything nice. Now, you know, I'll be asking some like hot questions. I'm going to just ask you a 5. It's called this or that. So
okay.
you gotta pick one or the other.
Oh, that's easy.
It's easy. It's easy. So, okay, the first thing we're going to go with, because, you know, I gotta ask questions because community people, hey, we see y'all, hey, how y'all doing? So we want to get in field business. Okay. Mask or film?
Mask.
He said that quick. Mask. Don't come up here with your purse. No. We don't want to bump pocket purses.
Oh my God. Oh, maybe a little one, you know,
just a little purse,
like a little camouflage.
It gotta be a little army fatigue. We need to make sure you're still a soldier. Okay. Are you a 50-50 or I'm taking care of all the bills?
Like a relationship?
Yeah.
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure it differs or it depends.
Yeah. I would say 50-50. Yeah. You got to like bring something to the table. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be working. So like, what the hell you going to do? You got to be working too. What you going to do them hours of the day?
We both can be princesses.
No, like we got to work.
We got to work.
We are men. So, no, that's offensive because women, like, that's not saying women shouldn't work too. So, But, I mean, I didn't mean to say that.
No, but I often do think about that when it's saying, you know, 2 men or 2 women. Like, how does that operate? Is it 50-50? Are we splitting it? Or if you old, maybe you got more, if your money more longer, then maybe.
Last time I was in something that serious was college. So, you know, it was different.
That was little kid stuff.
It was different. We were living together and we were 50-50. So, I'm like, I probably would do that again. Like,
yeah, but you were kids.
Right. And I would be willing to do like, you know, I could give 70-30, like me give 70.
Oh, so you a provider?
Or if he want to give 70, I would let him do
provider?
that too. I mean, I don't want to.
That's gonna segue into my next question.
I think it depends on the person. Like, it depends on what they got going on.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, because I don't mind, like, if I like you, if I'm really feeling you, you know, taking care of you in a way kind of feels, you know, that's like a fun
So you
thing.
were the Dockers.
Huh? Well,
I
mean, I can't even say, shoot, I'm single, so I don't know what it's going to be when I get into the next one. Because, you know, I mean, I've had a situation.
Yeah, we know.
And so that's why, I said, yeah, like, I could do 70-30, you know, give some. But if you want to do 70, that could be the case too. But I haven't ended up in that situation too many times.
Okay, look, Phil is a handsome man. Y'all better get in my brother DM, period. But
give me some money. So I know.
Give us some money. You need some cash out. Okay, this is a good one. DL or out?
Out, but like a lot of the gay people do not like DL people. I know the problematic elements of DL people for sure, but I just honestly don't have like a strong dislike for DL people.
Okay.
Like I could still deal with the DL guy, honestly.
Okay.
I could do that, but out just because like I'm out, so the DL thing it's not that realistic. Cause I'm not just out. I'm like out.
He
like,
is a community leader.
I'm like
okay?
jacked, the damn face of Jack for like 3 years now.
Literally.
So I can't even like you know.
Let me tell you something. The people gonna be on these comments, baby. When I put Phil on there, let me tell y'all, the people be DMing me about Phil all the time. Like my
Why you don't be forwarding me the DMs? Like how I even know?
Try, cause they don't live here and they ain't worth your time.
Okay.
I mean, I love y'all friends, but some of y'all
just DM me directly, y'all,
Yeah.
cause she not forwarding y'all DMs.
I'm not, but it's because it's some. We'll talk anyway. But the people be asking like, "What's up with Phil? He fine." I know. Very handsome young man. Okay, let's get a little sexual. Okay. Do you prefer? No, that's gonna be a 3-way. So you gotta pick one out of the 3. No. It's gonna be 3 options.
Oh, I thought you meant I gotta
one.
pick 2 people. I'm like, okay.
Top, bottom, verse.
I have to pick what?
Top, bottom, verse. your partner, what do you prefer them to be?
Verse.
Okay.
But they could also be like verse or top,
Okay.
but not bottom.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
If you know, you know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we just saying. Wait, how many questions was that, EP? Was that 4? That was 3. I got 2 more.
We're going to get in the depths of the tea.
All
what
right.
we got?
Detroit versus LA men.
Like
Ooh,
native
in Atlanta.
Detroit.
Damn, because you used to live in Atlanta too.
I didn't, but I've been there a lot of times. Are you saying native Detroit or native LA, native Atlanta, or like just people there?
Native Detroit versus native LA. Or actually, no, just people in Detroit versus LA, because we don't ever know who's a native. Because, you know,
That's
it's
true.
all over.
That's true.
So,
couple of them
dating
I'll
in
be
Detroit or dating in LA. Let's put it like that.
Well, I don't know how. In some ways, I'm going to say Detroit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You prefer Detroit?
Yeah, because LA, I don't think I take, this sounds bad, but I don't take dating as seriously in LA. It's kind of like, I feel like what you hear about dating in cities like LA, Atlanta, and New York is not great. Mm-hmm. So before I moved to LA, my mind already had those.
Gonna be serious.
It had those stereotypes in it. So at first they had me just, maybe a little bit messier than was necessary when I first got here. But then I just learned how to, I can still consider dating, but at the end of the day, there is the thing in the back of my head that's like, especially dating creatives and people within the industry or collaborators, like, it's not always what I do, because I tend to gravitate towards people that are different than me, because I think the curiosity in me enjoys, like, if you a lawyer, like, shit, tell me about, your life all day. But if we're doing the same thing, it's like, ugh, I'm already hearing about this. Like, I want something fun, exciting, like, difference can be fun.
I love that. And my last question is, rich and ugly or fine and broke?
Fine and broke.
Really?
I don't mind a broke guy. I don't mind what's wrong with broke? Broke guys still be looking good. I pay my own bills. Like,
Listen, I'm an independent man.
I support broke men as well. I do. Look, broke.
Hey, this is y'all time, young men out there. He said you can be fine and broke.
Look,
He got a coin.
I don't give a fuck.
But you can't be ugly.
You cannot be ugly though. That's
where we draw the line.
That's where we draw the line. But I also don't like to call people ugly.
We're gonna say visually unattractive.
You have to be attractive to me, but you don't have to be rich to me.
Okay. You heard it here first. Put your applications in. Put your applications in, honey.
Where the hood niggas at?
I cannot. All right, so we are at the end of our episode. First of all, we always have a good time. We always have a kiki. This ain't the first time he done been on TapInTuesday, and we done talked the thing. Now, the last time we were on TapInTuesday, we talked about some things of the things, honey.
Yeah.
We really talked about some things, and I forgot his name, but he was on there. Oh, I can't think of his name, but he's also a big influencer in the community as well. What is that man's name? It don't even matter, child. We're going to edit it.
I don't honestly remember who was on with us either.
I can't remember either,
who the
but
fuck?
It doesn't even matter. Moving right along. So this is pre-recorded, so just tell me some things that are going to be coming, or people that can watch. It doesn't have to have any dates on it.
Okay.
But what can the people be looking for, or what can they watch? Where can they follow you and find you?
So you can follow me at Philaye or Philaye Films on social media. Right now we have It's In You, Amy and Neil, and Quarantine Love, our 3 short films, going through the film festival circuit, and then when that's done, we'll make them available to watch. And in post-production right now and getting ready to release later this summer is Jamal, which is our sci-fi short film.
Phil love sci-fi, y'all.
Yes, and that one, it's going to be juicy. We got some cool things. Maybe a nice little fight sequence in there.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely a nice little storyline. So check out that later this year for sure. Be on the lookout.
I love that. Thank you again, brother, for coming. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm just so happy to be in your life and be a part of your journey. And you're a part of mine. And the sky is not the limit because we're going to go above and beyond. And every year we just keep elevating. So,
yes.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching Tap In Tuesday. Peace out.
Welcome to another episode of Tap In Tuesday Live. I'm so glad that you guys are here. The song is entitled I Don't Like to Share, produced by DJ Young. Produced by DJ Chose, written by me and my sister Gina. And yeah, we're going to get into it. I'm ready when you are, man. DJ Chose. Ooh, hey. Yeah. You make me feel some type of way, and that's kinda rare. If I hit your line back to back, that's because I care. This here ain't no competition, they do not compare. Just making me and you, cause I don't like to share. If it's mine, then tell me that. If you mind, please spell me that. Don't love it, take it back, I don't like to share. If it's mine, then tell me that. If you mind, please spell me that. Don't love it, take it back, I don't like. I'm calling, texting, asking what you're doing. I must not be the only senorita you pursuing. My criteria superior, nothing to it. I said it, I meant it, I ain't scared to prove it. Not normal, not average, baby, I'm exclusive. Ain't no wingman, but baby, let me introduce you. Hey, it game crazy like Versace, rock Medusa. Make them climax like executive producers. See, I don't want you to love if you think I'm not in love. Yeah. Take advantage of love before your time is up. Yeah. Make me feel some type of way, and that's kinda rare. If I hit your line back to back, that's because I care. This here ain't no competition, they do not compare. Just making me and you, cause I don't like to share. If it's mine, then tell me that. If you mind, please spare me that. No love here, take it back, I don't like to share. If it's mine, then tell me that. Please spare me that. No love here, take it back. If I let you get away with all your fickle moves, repeating offenses, thinking that it's all cool, I'ma have to show you instead of tell you that I ain't never been the one and I ain't never two. You're either all in or just be all out. You can't be switching teams or you gon' make me spaz out. Cat, cut your tongue, pick me or we done. Shouldn't be no hesitation, not much of deliberation. I done gave you plenty of time. Don't have to be with you, I can. Don't have to be with you, baby. Promise to me it ain't worth my time. Yeah, busy. Take advantage while you're on my mind. It's because I can't. This ain't no competition, I do not compare. Just like me and you, I don't like to share. I didn't tell you that. I please spell you that. You love it, take it back. Take it back, I don't like to share. Cause I don't like to share. Yeah, no, you're my all mine. Why would you make me share you? Cause I don't like to share. Haven't I been there for